Hey, welcome to the Focus on Your Own Family podcast. And I am also going to put this on YouTube. So, welcome to my channel. I am so excited for the interviews that I have coming up. I have been working very hard to bring some really good content to this podcast, and I'm excited about it. Before I talk a little bit about what's coming up, I want to talk to you about what the TikTok ban means to me. Y'all, I'm devastated. I'm not going to lie. I started creating on TikTok, I believe in July of 2022, and I did not have a community. My husband and I had just left, like in 2020, we stopped going to church, and with that came shunning. And we can all joke around about the term shun, but in reality, when you are the one on the receiving end of it, it is terrible. And we did not have community. We didn't have family. When I started on TikTok, I remember just being so scared, and I would shake every single time that I talked about what it's like to no longer be in church, because I thought, oh my gosh, if somebody finds me, I'm going to get church disciplined. Even though I no longer went to church, I just thought, I can't do this. Like, people can't know about this. People can't know what I'm doing. And I remember for a really long time, I kept my identity a secret. I wouldn't say my real name, and I was terrified that people would find out. And eventually, I just decided I was safe. And I don't mean physically safe, because look, like, I'd be terrified if somebody doxed me, of course. I meant emotionally safe and spiritually safe. Like, I felt safe enough to show the world who I am. TikTok gave me I guess I coined myself the strong-willed child, but TikTok gave me that platform where when I said, my name is Stephanie and I am the strong-willed child, I felt so seen and so validated in those moments, because I had people messaging me, DMing me, commenting, and saying, I'm the strong-willed child too. You have no idea how seen I feel. And I finally had community. And through that, this podcast was born. TikTok has given me so many opportunities. I have made a whopping 3 cents on Meta in the last 2.5 years. TikTok, however, put food on the table. TikTok provided things that there was no way we were going to be able to do. TikTok was supplemental income. See, growing up how I did, women were not valued to work outside the home, to get an education, and I was a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with that. But I knew that I had more to give, but I don't have a resume. What am I going to put on my resume? I mean, volunteer work at the church, that I was in upper level senior volunteer ministry at the mega church, that I was a worship leader at the mega church? No, because I can't say that I have anybody that would recommend me. Kind of burn those bridges. In fact, I torched the town on the way out while I burned the bridge. No one is going to recommend me from a mega church. But TikTok, that's something different. I got my degree. I finished that up just before I started making content on TikTok. TikTok gave me visibility. And through that, I met a literary agent who signed me to her agency. And I'm working on a book. I have finished the manuscript. And anyway, writing a book, I've learned, is a very long, arduous process. I started working with brands. I discovered an organization called Unchained at Last, and they're working to end child marriage in every state in our nation. And I joined with them, and together with them, I testified before my state senate and helped to end child marriage in my state. 18, no exception. And I cannot tell you what a highlight that was for my life. And I've met friends, I have community, I have chosen family from this app. People that I don't just text with, but like I call, like we talk on the phone. And maybe that's just like a Zennial thing or a Gen X or elder millennial. I don't care. But there are people like me who enjoy talking over the phone. I feel seen. I've learned recipes. I've learned life hacks. I've learned things about health that I would have never otherwise learned. I've discovered new products. Some I don't ever recommend for anybody, and some that I use daily. I started this podcast. I know I mentioned it before, Focus on Your Own Family. And that was birthed from a video where I called out Dobson and I held up a wooden spoon. And through that, I have been able to meet incredible people who are doing incredible things. I have interviewed authors, New York Times bestsellers. I have publishers sending me books. I have been able to build a library off of authors and material that I just wouldn't have otherwise been able to afford out of my own pocket. It's been an honor. And I'm sad that that's going. My platform is the largest on TikTok. When TikTok goes dark, I'm going to have just under 117,000 followers. And I have not even 5,000 on Instagram. And that's tough. I think I might have 200 on YouTube. So that's 200, 200. There are no extra zeros after that, my friends. That's tough. But I'm going to work. I'm going to roll my sleeves up. And I'm going to focus on bringing more content to this podcast as much as I can. I don't really know if TikTok's going to go dark on Sunday. Today is Friday, January 17th, 24 hours. Little over than that. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I know that I'll be here. I'll be working hard to bring you interviews with people. I'm going to start doing book reviews. At least that's my goal. And I'm excited about that. And when I say book reviews, I'm working hard to get authors on here. I mean, just maybe doing 5-minute, 10-minute book reviews on how I feel about different deconstruction, evangelical books. Obviously, I would love suggestions if there's something that you want me to review. But for right now, I think I'm just going to stick to the library of books that authors have trusted me with. And, we'll see what happens. I want to talk about current events. And y'all, we are going to work through these next 2 to 4 years. And we're going to see where we go from there. I want to say that I'm optimistic, but I can't. Because that's not necessarily who I am anymore. When I was evangelical, I was positive all the time. I was afraid to say anything negative. Although I did, behind closed doors to my husband, I would rant and rant and rant. But now I'm a realist. And I'm okay with that. And I just don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks, let alone 2 years and 4 years. But we're going to do this. One day at a time, one step at a time. We're going to do this. So please keep sending me your emails. Keep messaging me. In fact, all of the show notes have a link. This is super important for everybody. In that link, if you want to be on this podcast, you click that link and fill it out. It's a Google sheet thing. I don't know what is it called? I don't even know. And it is going to help me go through that pre-interview process, because before it was like a long hour-long process, and I don't have the bandwidth to do that. I just don't. So fill this out, and if you are a fit, I will get a hold of you. Here's the thing though. If I don't call you, it is not because you aren't a fit. It's because I am working hard to schedule particular things. So I don't want a month straight of just purity culture, purity. If I'm going to talk about Dobson, I want to talk about all facets of Dobson. So it might be conversion therapy 1 week. It might be about somebody that survived purity culture. It might be an interview with an author, all sorts of different things. But if I don't call you right away, again, it is not because I don't find your story of value. It's just because I'm trying really hard to create dynamic content that isn't, these stories are heavy. These are people's lives. What Dobson did and continues to do, what he insists parents do to their children, is abusive behavior. It's not okay. And the more we talk about it, the louder we get, the more people are going to hear it. I am the strong-willed child. I will always be the strong-willed child. That is a name that was designed to make me feel inferior. That is a name that was designed to make me feel shame. And now that name makes me feel bolder than I have ever felt before. It reminds me of the resilience that I have because I survived the evangelical movement. And although these times feel dark because Christian nationalism is taking over our country, those that survived it once, not only can we survive it again, but we can help others escape it because we've done it. So, we're a community and we are a family. And with that, I think it's time that we all collectively remind Dobson that he needs to focus on his own family. Stay tuned because the first book that I am going to review is by Beth Allison Barr, and it's The Making of Biblical Womanhood. And I am just wrapping it up. I love it. Honestly, I started this actually right around the time that I started making content on TikTok. And it was actually my husband that purchased it for himself. And I stole it from him. So I guess now he can finally read it if he has time. But nevertheless, that's what I'm going to do. I am interviewing my friend, Stephanie Drury, and we will talk about Mark Driscoll. She is one of the people that is responsible for getting Driscoll to, basically, she kicked Driscoll out of Seattle. I owe her everything good in life. So we talk about that. We talk about her upbringing inside of Dobsonian society and Dobsonian world. I talked to my good friend Abby Smith. We talk about why it is imperative to do the hard work of deconstructing and decolonizing your thinking, because the evangelical movement really sets people up to not have boundaries and to not have critical thinking skills. And that leaves us wide open for people to come in and abuse us and take advantage of us. So we talk about that just with a variety of different things. And I'm excited. I've got some other really great people lined up. Let's do this. Thank you all for listening. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.